Why did Bad Bunny, one of the world's most listened to artists, choose two plain, white, plastic chairs for the cover of his Emmy-winning album? These chairs carry a secret message you might not have noticed. To understand it, we need to go back a few generations. These simple, ordinary, and cheap chairs were there long before any of us were born. And they will likely be there long after we are gone, as the mundane witnesses of the modern world. Just like us. From the dusty streets of Puerto Rico to the remotest villages of Anatolia, let's untangle that invisible thread that connects the entire world. Its most common name is the monoblock. To engineers, it's a production miracle. To architects, an aesthetic disaster. And according to psychologists, it's a universal, collective memory. Interestingly, this mysterious chair has no single clear patent owner, but it has many perpetrators. It wasn't designed by a single genius creator, but rather birthed by the post-World War II polymer industry's ambition to standardize the world. It is poured into a single polypropylene mold, and it takes only 60 seconds for this miraculous chair to form. No screws, no glue, no labor. Just mass production. The first spark was ignited in 1946 by Canadian designer D.C. Simpson. He drew the prototype. But at that time, plastic wasn't advanced enough to support a seat in a single piece. The world wasn't ready for this cheap revolution yet. The real breakthrough happened in the 1960s. Italian designer Vico Magistretti designed the legendary Celine chair. But the Celine was still an expensive design object. By 1968, the famous Danish furniture designer Werner Panton pushed the limits of plastic with his iconic S-shaped chair. However, there was a problem. All these chairs still required manual labor or complex processes. When the calendar hit 1972, French engineer Henri Massenet delivered the final blow. Massenet designed the FOToS model. This was the ancestor of the monoblock we know today. He pressed liquid plastic into the mold, waited only 60 seconds for it to cool, and ejected the chair. Massenet's firm stamp churned out these chairs at such a speed that the entire global furniture industry was forced into a new era. At that moment, Pandora's box was opened. The patent belonged to Massenet, but the design was so simple and easy to replicate that thousands of anonymous factories, from Taiwan to Brazil, Italy to Turkey, copied the molds. No one paid patents. No one cared about aesthetics. In the 80s and 90s, as the price of plastic raw materials dropped, the monoblock stopped being furniture and became a utility item. All it took was $1 to throw one in front of a cafe, or a single phone call to line up 500 of them in a wedding hall instantly. As you can imagine, it took almost a blink of an eye for something so easily accessible to take over the world. Moreover, there was another psychological reason for this chair spreading everywhere. Its disposability. If it broke, you could throw it away. If it was stolen, you wouldn't grieve. But here lies the tragedy. On those plastics we deemed disposable, we gathered memories we could never let go of. This would turn a chair into an object carrying the shared emotion of the entire world. So, why did those two simple, cheap, and ordinary chairs on Bad Bunny's Emmy-winning album cover affect us all so deeply? There is a reason beneath the surface that differs from what meets the eye. The difference between looking and seeing is something widely known but rarely contemplated. We are always amazed when a painter depicts what we couldn't see in the same landscape, or when a photographer captures an extraordinary shot of a place we look at every day. Let's look at this photo again. I think we all agree there are only two white chairs. Two empty, white chairs. But seeing requires more than looking. The hidden reason this photo envelopes everyone and is so striking is that the chairs are empty. Whether it's from our family home, a school garden, a country wedding, Or that calm and peaceful grandmother's house where we drank our milk while watching cartoons as kids. The emptiness of that chair, which touched all our lives, represents a loss we have all experienced or will inevitably experience. We miss the people who used to sit in it but are no longer alive. These chairs are the same all over the world, but the meanings they hold for us are profoundly different. What is the difference between looking and seeing? They asked Rumi. He replied, everyone can look at what you look at, but can everyone see what you see? The only difference is you. In this new age where we live as side characters within the technologies invented by Silicon Valley giants who spend billions of dollars to steal our attention every second, what shakes us is the ordinariness of this photo. It's like finding those toys we all loved years ago, but most of us have forgotten existed, and remembering the beautiful memories we lived with them. Memories you might tell your children, your spouse, your friends, or perhaps your parents if they are still with us. Those years when time flowed slower, colors were more vibrant, and everyone felt they lived in a happier, more understandable world. The 90s, the early 2000s. The youth or childhood memories of each of us. One of those two chairs in that cover photo is for you, and the other is for the person who is no longer by your side. In short, we all grew up in these chairs. We experienced our first heartbreaks accompanied by the sound of that creaking plastic. Our mothers called us to dinner from those chairs. Sometimes while watching cartoons, we eavesdropped on our grandmother's gossip coming from the side. One day, we will all be gone. Just like the loved ones we lost who once sat in those chairs. Our social media accounts will be deleted. Our clothes will be given to others. Our voices will be forgotten. But perhaps that white plastic chair will continue to stand in a corner of the garden. It will turn yellow under the sun, get soaked in the rain, maybe get a little dirty. But it will be there. That void upon it will continue to carry the weight of someone who was once there. And perhaps that empty white chair we leave behind will cause someone else to remember us. Do you think it's possible to learn something from a chair? I think it is. Like how life is as fast and fleeting as cheap plastic produced in 60 seconds. And how things that seem ordinary can actually be so precious. Now close your eyes. Who would you want to be sitting in that chair right now? With whom would you want to sit in silence on that creaking plastic for just 5 more minutes? Some voids are never filled, but they always leave a trace behind for you to remember.